Welcome to the SharkPreneur podcast with Kevin Harrington and Seth Green. Kevin Harrington is the inventor of the infomercial, one of the original sharks from the hit TV show Shark Tank, and has generated over $5 billion in TV and digital direct response sales. Seth Green is the world's first trusted authority on cutting-edge direct response marketing, a best-selling author, and the only 3-time Marketer of the Year nominee. On the podcast, Kevin and Seth interview sharkpreneurs who share straight talk on what it takes to explode your business.
Do you want to become insanely successful? Do you want to be the go-to guru in your industry? Do you want to be talked about for all the right reasons? For over 40 years, Kevin Harrington has helped people just like you become significant influencers. Now he's broken the process down in the Key Person of Influence Roadmap, and it's yours for free. Just text KPI to him at 727-888-2100. Text KPI to 727-888-2100 right now and claim your free step-by-step guide. Text KPI to 727-888-2100 to get the recognition you deserve and experience the success as the go-to voice everyone listens to in your industry today. Welcome to the SharkPreneur podcast. This is your co-host, Seth Green. With me, as always, is the inventor of the infomercial and the original shark from the hit TV show Shark Tank, Kevin Harrington. Kevin, thanks so much for joining us today.
Seth, pleasure to be here. I'm excited to talk to our guest today.
We have a very special guest today, Nate Lindquist. Nate is a peak performance coach and author. He's mastered turning your biggest business frustrations into success. After building and growing several successful businesses, he's evolved into a globally recognized expert in business growth and personal transformation. When you hear his story, you'll be inspired. It's what's possible for yourself, regardless of your current circumstances. Nate, thanks so much for joining us.
Oh yeah, Seth, this is awesome to be here, and good to be here with Kevin too.
So Nate,
thank you.
How did you get started?
Okay, well, you know what? I just like anyone, right? I decided to be a cartoonist because it made so much sense. I was, didn't want to be the guy pushing the mower around town, which is really where I started at 9 years old. And then, got the jobs because I didn't want to be the kid who didn't have money. All the kids are buying like the GT freestyle bikes, and I wanted a bike. And I didn't want to be, going to get a job, but I didn't also want to, before I could get my working papers, I wanted to have money. So I started doing cartooning, and then I had some really interesting opportunities there and started doing open houses and caricatures where I had to do 300 to 400 caricatures in 4 or 5 hours. And I was working my tail off. So that's how I started. And there's more there, but
in the interest of time, we're going to jump forward a little bit.
Yeah.
But then I evolved over the years. I wanted to, sprinkle a lot of purpose, pump a lot of purpose into what I was doing. And I became a graphic designer, and then I evolved into having a graphic agency, then an advertising firm, and then a marketing firm. I did that for 17 years. And then I created a growth consulting firm. And then if you go back to 2007, I shifted over to being a contract CEO, where I was really unhappy with the way clients were responding, making decisions with their marketing dollars. So I said, well, what's the problem? It's the person making the decision what they're going to do with the marketing dollars. So what I'll do is I'll become the contract CEO and then give the work to my agency so we can do the right work instead of just spending a bunch of money on marketing, which I just hated seeing. It's like, I know you want a website, but that's not going to get the result you want. And what would happen is business owners were experts, right? So they're telling me, I want parachute instruction. It's the best analogy I can give you. But I want to tell you how I'm going to pack the chute, and I want to tell you where to fly the plane, and I want to tell you where to jump. And then if I get hurt, I want to blame you. So
I've heard that before.
Yeah.
Not that analogy, but I resemble that remark at times.
Yeah. And I think there's a tendency for business owners to say, nope, this is what I've decided. And they forget that it's better. I think it's a huge shame. And this is sort of something that I stand by. It's a huge shame for a business owner to have genius over here and accidentally apply it over here, or I'm going to apply my genius at, building an oil business or having, oil services. And then I'm going to apply it over here to marketing for my oil business. That's just as an example of a client I had in the past. And then of course they fail miserably at it and want to know why it's not working because they're so smart over here. And these are good people going down the wrong path. And so as I started seeing this happening, I kind of went in, maybe I was involved too much with the back room in the businesses, even though I was remote. So I shifted to being a peak performance coach because I wanted to have more reach and less direct involvement with the business and more leader building and empowering them to make the changes that they needed to make.
Now, you've got an interesting story in that you almost died and lived to tell about it.
Yeah. Actually, so I got up to 206 pounds. I was grinding at my business, and I've been listening to personal growth and development. The whole, I'm sure you guys are aware of the Nightingale Conant Library. I got Bob Moad and Zig Ziglar, see at the top, and Wayne Dyer, Earl Nightingale, Brian Tracy, Focal Point. And I'm 6 years old listening to this stuff to fall asleep at night. And I just enjoyed listening to it, and, but I was applying it to building businesses and making money. So I've gotten really good at making money, but along the way, several years ago, I ended up, just looking at a picture of myself once coming back from vacation. I was like, who's the fat guy wearing my bathing suit? I was like, oh my God, that's me. And I hadn't realized I went from athlete to business owner to train wreck, and my life was really falling apart. Then I had a pile of money. So it was a really unhealthy situation. And after lots of anxiety attacks, oh my God, I'm going to die and something's wrong. It was all symptom management. That's sort of what doctors do, is they give you drugs, symptom management, and hey, just, I'll sell my way out of this. I'll build my business bigger. I'll have more success, and that'll fix this. And that's where my freedom's going to come from. So I'm grinding myself down. And then one night I wake up, I literally woke up. I was standing on my bed, and I fell and I passed out. I woke up to pass out, which is a horribly uncomfortable situation. And I have a scar. I might be able to see it right there.
Wow.
Yeah, right there. I fell on my bedside table, just cracked my head real good, wide open, and then blood everywhere. I came to, and I passed out again, but this time my heart stopped.
Oh, wow.
And I was revived in the ambulance on the way to the hospital. It's every time I tell the story, it's hard because I was thinking of my daughter and what's going on with my life. And I knew I was already in the process of knowing I needed to make a change. And so I burned the boats. Like the doctor was like, you're so wound up. You're just a mess. Congrats on the business if you want to kill yourself. And the changes I made were immediate. They were dramatic, and I documented the process and the mistakes I made, and I changed everything. And so that's what I coach.
That's an amazing story, Nate. It sounds like you're taking some of that same learning in the changes and applying it now for entrepreneurs to change in their business, to learn from their mistakes. Because this is your kind of hook, is you teach them how to deal with, was it their biggest failure and how to overcome it? Is that kind of the strategy as a peak performance coach that you're using?
It's failure, and it's a lot of times and I think we all know this, as we've had, you've had a lot of success, Kevin and Seth, you both have. There's a perception of failure. You're disappointing yourself. Right now, I work with women and men, but the program I'm launching is called The King's Calling. So right now it's heavily focused on men because, I've been a guy my whole life. And so I got this insight on that, but it's the frustration of not knowing where to push when you're spread too thin, and seeing this as a failure, seeing this failure as a stopping point, instead of, seeing the frustration as a compass. Like if you look back on a frustration, it's what did I learn? If you look forward, it's what do I want? And in the middle is, who do I need to become to get on the other side of that? And I think as men, we're wired to have image management, and we want to look good in a lot of ways to our women and to the world. So we cultivate conflict avoidance. We practice avoiding conflict. And what happens is we stack up these frustrations to the point where at an emotional level, we're having all these symptoms, not time with our wife and family. We don't feel a sense of freedom. We're never fulfilled. We don't know how we got into this situation. But then what happens? Along comes this hammer that smashes you in the side of the head. That, by the way, this whole story you're telling and this image management is actually a bunch of BS. It's a big story, and it's not true. So I don't want people to get to that point. I want to get to the underneath part where there's a root cause. Deal with that root cause. And that's how I coach. I don't want to deal with symptoms, because the root cause, you fix that, the symptoms, the money you want, the time with family, that stuff's going to sort itself out really fast.
Can you speak to any kind of magical transformation you've had for any clients? Or are you allowed to disclose anything like that? Or
Yeah.
Generically, maybe even if you had to?
Absolutely, yeah. As a matter of fact, I'll use a recent example. A gentleman named Dan Richter. He's become a friend. He's a client, but he came to me just wound up. He's having challenges. He's spending 18 to 20 days away from home, not with his wife and kids. You know, he's got this beautiful blended family, and he's like, I got to get to know the kids every month. But he's also in the process of building his business career. And so, you know, he's doing well, but he kept going backwards. And then I look at the guy, he's like, I listened to him when we first met, and I saw the signs. He was saying to me, I'm pretty healthy. You know, I've always been an athlete. Things are okay. And I was like, all right, what if you could see 20 to 30% improvement in the next 45 days? What would that look like? He couldn't define it. So I was like, okay, what's really pissing you off? And I said, let's make a piss list right now. And then that's when the light shined. And so you find out the guy's 242 pounds and his target weight was 185. And in 52 days, he's dropped down to 184.
Wow. Whew.
But in the process, he secured some new business, and he's doubled his income and also created a $500,000 passive income stream over the next 10 years. Totally passive. And he's only been going through the process. He hasn't even completely gone the full 90 days. And so the silver bullet is he went through the 8 radical shifts. It's a process it's a process within the King's Calling. And it's also a core part of my coaching that I've done for men and women. But right now, it's only available through the King's Calling program. And just seeing these results for me gives me a sense of like, wow, this guy doesn't have to suffer anymore. He doesn't have to feel unfulfilled. And actually, I did a call with him, and his wife jumps on, and I've got this hysterical video that I may or may not share where she's like, you know, I kind of became aware, like, who is this guy living in my house? And we got pictures of him. He was a fat guy, and he's now a thin, lean guy with a 6-pack. She goes, wow. I saw him. I had the awareness. He was standing in the bedroom door, and she's like, hubba, hubba. She grabbed him. So he's got some stuff going on where he's feeling a stronger passion and connection in his marriage. We dealt with the income, the marriage. He's healthy. He's happy. And he's moving forward. He was digging a pretty big hole for himself and into the whole world. He looked like one hell of a successful guy, but now he actually is, you know, and these are building blocks.
There's a lot of great claims in that story, you know, more sex with your wife, make money, all these, you know, lose weight. I mean, that's pretty.
How many infomercial pill products do we have to sell to cover what he just said?
Got a lot of covering all the bases almost, right?
You know what's interesting? It's a little bit of the guy thing, right? Can you eat it? Can you? And is it dangerous? And the funny part is it wasn't. I'm not going to tell you that what I have is super clever or some fancy strategy. You know what it is? It's a process you go through systematically that gets your mindset in order. You understand your purpose, and you dig out the truth. And then you do, you know, we have something at the beginning of the program called the 5 Forces Jumpstart. I'm going to tell you, you know, as part of this, I hadn't even thought of this before the call, but I'd love to, I'll make this available to all the listeners so we can talk about that afterwards. But that's where their biggest transformation happens. And it's simply by a pattern, creating a pattern, a linchpin habit of doing these 5 things for the period of 30 days. And the first week, I get these messages like, oh my God, everything's changing. I'm like, listen, be patient. You're right. Notice it. You know, if you're not aware of a change, you're not going to appreciate it. You're not going to really see it. So then you go, you know, they go through this process, and it's doing this consistently, realizing we don't have focus muscles, a lot of us, right? And the consistency, it's not about clever. It's not about fancy. It's not a silver bullet. What it is follow through on a commitment that you made to yourself. Stop looking for fancy diet programs. You don't need the South Beach or the paleo or some sort of crazy damage your body and pull your muscles P90X crap. And nothing against all those programs, because they're good and you can get intense. You just need to do what you say you're going to do. And here's a really clear cut way to do it. Yeah. Now, it's not a fitness program, by the way, because as they go through it, they move into business building, career building, planting, you know, seeds of future opportunities. So it's not a silver bullet.
The whole life experience, though, which is powerful. I mean, people need that. I've had my own personal transformations losing weight and focusing and things like that. Because it's important to feel good, wake up feeling energetic, healthy, etc., and eating right and all that good stuff. And so I love what you're doing, and I think it's amazing. And so that story is, so you probably have quite a few stories, I bet, and it's funny because it goes from the personal side to the business side, which was powerful.
Yeah, you gotta, we've all heard the story, I think, about the little girl goes to work with her dad, and he's like, I gotta work. And so he's like, listen, I'm gonna tear up this magazine. If you can put this back together, there's a picture of the world on it. Just put the world back together there. And then once the puzzle piece is put together, I'll play with you. I'll actually take the rest of the day off. And sure enough, she comes back in like 10 or 15 minutes with the whole thing put together. And it's, if you've seen the globe with the greens and blues, putting that together is not easy, little tiny pieces. She said, it's okay. On the other side, there was a man. I put the man together and the world was together. And I think I heard that from, who was it? Maybe Earl, I think it was Earl Nightingale when I first heard it. And, part of the strangest secret, you become what you think about most. And, as I think back to that story and I look at what I'm doing, let's not come up with a magic formula to grow your business. Let's become the man who is going to create that successful business, is going to follow through, because no strategy is going to get you there if you're not willing to do that.
Yeah, super.
Hey, who's an ideal client for you?
An ideal client's a 30 to 50-year-old man, businessman, who's incredibly overwhelmed, feels like he's spread too thin, and probably making on the low end $80,000 a year. But I have clients who do $500,000, $2 million a year. Inevitably, they've had a degree of success in one or two areas of life. So you might have a great body success, a great business success, but maybe you're just not getting home to be with your kids, your family, or maybe you're not spending time with your wife, or you don't even have the romantic relationship. So you're like, how am I going to get this relationship stuff done and still build my business? And inevitably, what do? There's this back and forth. I'm going to go work over here in a silo, and then what happens? The business goes to hell. Or I'm going to work on my body, and then, the relationship goes to hell. And it's all this selfish, I'm going to go do this. And everyone needs, how many guys have said over the years, don't you understand? I'm building this for the family. And all it sounds like is, that's really great. That's partner stuff. But in the meantime, you're sacrificing. And if we're not all on the same page and deliberate about how we sacrifice and pull together, then you get that frustration. So that the right person to talk to is someone who doesn't know how to create this balance when there's a need to throw attention on something important, like a money issue, a body issue, getting home to spend time with wife and kids, or having that feeling of fulfillment and freedom. I mean, the energy behind what you're doing starts with your body, moves into a sense of purpose, and then progress that you get by doing it every day. And if you don't know how to do that, then, this is going to help.
Good stuff, Nate. You're amazing. Look forward to following up with you on this, and maybe we'll be at an event together soon. How do people get a hold of you if they want to track you down?
Yeah, you mentioned you had an incredible offer you were going to make our listeners.
Yeah. A couple of things. As I think about this, I've always said I want to serve as many people as I can, whether they become clients or not. So I would go to NateLindquist.com. That's NateLindquist.com/shark. Because I know there's a shark in the room right now.
Hey.
And what I'm going to give away on this page, when you go there, we're going to do I'm adding this in the, the 5 forces jumpstart. And the 5 forces are mind, body, spirit, center, which is wife and kids, and business. So this is going to jumpstart the core forces of energy and fulfillment in life. And you got to get those right. So I'm going to give that away. You follow through on this. Anyone who does this, follows through on this, is going to have huge progress, whether we ever work together or not. It walks you right through. There's a video, a download. Now, people are gonna be like, what? I gotta do this? But you commit to it, and it's like, wow, look it, I can do this. The next thing I'm gonna give away is the One Focus Power System. And this is actually the 8th shift in the 8 radical shifts. So it's a little sneak peek. But the One Focus Power System is how you take all the overwhelm, the to-do items, the projects you want to get done, everything that you want to do, and all those 5 areas of your life. And of course, there's derivative areas, and you could branch off, whatever. You take all that overwhelm. This program is going to give you a tool to make a declaration about what matters to you most. You will know You will know what your quest is. You will put it onto this plan, and then you will create a one-day win the day program. So this is what you do every day, a win the day check sheet where you get focused, you get clear, and then you work on one project that pulls your entire life forward.
We know your time is valuable. We'll send everyone to natelindquist.com/shark. That link will be in the show notes. Kevin, thanks for being here. As always, Nate, thanks so much for joining us.
I'm going to go to that site. Thank you, Nate. Good to meet you, buddy. Take care.
Thanks a lot.
All right. Take care. Bye-bye.
Do you need money to fund your idea, product, or service? Are you ready to take your business to the next level but need capital to get it done? Kevin Harrington has heard more than 50,000 pitches and knows how to help you make the perfect pitch to get the funding for your entrepreneurial dream. He's distilled the process down in his perfect pitch cheat sheet, and it's yours for free. Just text PITCH to him right now at 727-888-2100. Text PITCH to 727-888-2100 right now and claim your free perfect pitch cheat sheet. Text PITCH to 727-888-2100 to start funding your dream today.
This show has been produced by Market Domination, LLC. To discover how you can have your own show completely done for you and turn it into a real published book and become the authority in your marketplace, go to www.marketdominationllc.com/podcast offer.